My best advice to incoming students is to be open and to stay open. The students I love are the ones I meet before they've made a decision even, and they'll meet me in sort of a fair, university fair, or on a visit to the campus, and I'll say, what are you interested in? And they'll say, no. They have no idea, and they're so scared to admit that they're not sure what they want to do. And then I'll meet some that will give me an answer. And then I can see that that's literally the thing that they've been saying over and over. And so the advice is, here you had the opportunity I didn't have, that I fought for, which is a place where you can take a different direction. You can come in thinking you want to do one thing, and it's not impossible in that first year to just experiment, open up, see what other things you can do. We encourage that. Were you always interested in philosophy? Take a class in philosophy and see if you like that, right? What about a language? You really wanted to understand a bit more about Indigenous language and culture? Take a class. We're not committing to that, but what you're doing is remaining open to the idea that this could be something that I love. And you can mix it up here. It's so much easier. You don't have to fight. You can say, I want to do this weird thing and that weird thing, and it can come together. From the beginning of a class to the end of a class, if I can have students see in themselves and reflect, I grew so much. That's what I'm interested in. What did you learn about you? What did you learn about your capacity and your ability? For me to send them out of the university with that kind of confidence and the ability to understand they may not have met something, a new app, a new technology, it doesn't matter. They know they can face it, and they've dealt with it before, and they will deal with it again, and they will succeed.
Hello and welcome everyone to our Discover Day. We're so happy to have you. Thank you for taking the time to join us live here today. My name is Sadaf, and I am an International Recruitment and Admissions Officer with the University of Toronto, Mississauga. I'm also a very proud alum, graduating a couple of years ago, but happy to share my experiences both as a staff member as well as a former graduate or an alumni of the campus. I also am joined by my two lovely colleagues. So Debra, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Debra. I'm in my third year. I'm studying Political Science Sociology and Women and Gender Studies.
Thank you so much, Debra. We're going to hear a bit more from Debra a little bit later on. Alicia is also joined today. Hi, Alicia.
Hey, thank you so much for joining, everyone. My name is Alicia. I am a recent graduate from the University of Toronto, Mississauga, and now I am a part of the recruitment team here. I'm also going to be on the chat, joined by my colleagues, Fada, Tara, as well as Jen. We're going to be answering all of your questions throughout the presentation, and then at the end, Sadaf is going to bring me back on, and I'll be able to ask all of your questions live for both Debra and Sadaf to answer.
Thank you so much, Alicia. Thank you so much, Debra. We will be hearing from them shortly, but I want to start off with a little overview about the University of Toronto, Mississauga. Then we'll turn to our wonderful tour guide who will be taking you through a personal experience of the campus. And then, of course, Alicia will come up at the very end with any of the questions that we can answer live. So Debra and Alicia, thank you for now. I will be seeing you shortly. See you soon. All right, everyone. So as I mentioned, my name is Sadaf. Really excited to share with you a little bit about the University of Toronto, Mississauga. Now, a couple of things that we'd like to start off with is a land acknowledgement. Now, this might be new for some of you, and that's okay, but the University of Toronto, as well as where I am, is on Indigenous land. And part of the truth and reconciliation, we like to acknowledge the land that we operate. So I'll read out the land acknowledgement. We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the home, the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently the Mississaugas of the Credit River. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. Now, if you're joining us today, you've come to learn a little bit more about the University of Toronto and the University of Toronto Mississauga specifically. So I'll start off by saying that the University of Toronto is one university with three very distinct campuses. At the very end, you graduate with the same wonderful degree, have access to the same supports and resources across all three of our campuses. Now, the Mississauga campus has some unique features, so let's talk a little bit more about that today. Now, we are a traditional or an enclosed campus. And what I mean by that is that end to end, everyone on the campus is connected to the university. So it's very common to walk down the pathway and run into your professors, classmates, and people that are working at the university, along with some natural animals. So we'll see deer, squirrels, rabbits across our campus as well. Now, we are just shy of 15,000 undergraduate students, so it is a nice community, a chance to connect with folks from across the different program areas that we offer at our university. And we have 60,000 living alumni that are spread across the world for you to connect with the Mississauga campus. Now, why you'd pick a particular campus over another, sometimes will have to do with the program and where that's offered. And we'll talk a little bit more about the undergraduate programs that are available. But some of the unique offerings to the Mississauga campus is that we combine that U of T, that world-renowned, #1 in Canada, 17 in the entire world, university education, in that very enriched, close-knit, innovative environment. So our campus is constantly growing, and we have state-of-the-art facilities partnering with the city of Mississauga, which is Canada's 6th largest city. Really unique programs, as well as an opportunity to get involved and be supported and have access to really great supports. And exactly where you are, that's where we'll meet you. Now, some of the programs that we cover are arts, business, and science. And we have a robust list of those programs listed here on your screen right now. But keeping in mind that you may not know exactly what you want to do, or you may know exactly what you want to do, and that's okay. As Rhonda said in the beginning message, it's okay to figure it out, take classes, be inspired, or realize that the thing you think you liked is actually a bit better suited for you here. And we have the opportunity to specialize, major, and minor in a variety of things that you might be interested in. And of course, you have the opportunity to change your mind and change it again with the support of our program and academic advisors. Now, one of the things that I love to advise to students is during your university undergraduate years, get involved. Our fourth-year students and our alumni always say they wish they were more involved, and that can start right from the first year. Seizing those opportunities that we're going to be talking about throughout these different events and activities that we do, and getting to know some of the resources even before you start. So recognizing where maybe the writing and academic supports are, or recognizing where the mental, emotional, physical supports are. And that's something that we're going to start to cover in these next series of sessions. And for our international student experience, we have a variety of opportunity. We partner with over 120 different institutions. So having a chance to really take your University of Toronto degree globally and having the opportunity to have that global mindset, even when you're local or learning virtually or in person. So we do talk about our sports and our recreation, our mental, our physical health. We have a variety of virtual programs, sports teams that you can be a part of. We have a beautiful gym with an aquatic facility. And even right now, as we're virtual, the classes, I've been participating in a few of them, have been very engaging and very connective. So exploring some of those opportunities is amazing too. Now, we offer a first-year housing residence guarantee for students that are coming directly from high school. So check out our residence. We have the most variety of residence opportunities here at the University of Toronto Mississauga campus. So starting to build that community, learning your resources. We'll be sharing more experiences about residence, and I'm sure Debra will cover it in her tour as well. Now, this is an important topic. Many people want to learn more about how to finance their education, looking into scholarships and bursaries. One thing to keep in mind is that scholarship applications are often due quite early. So doing your due diligence and researching some of the ones that are application-based. Now, in terms of automatic scholarship, we offer a variety of automatic scholarships. These scholarships are great because like the name suggests, you don't really have to do much. They're assessed based on your grade. So you can see some of the renewable scholarships that we have on our screen here. And there are also additional scholarships, both for international students as well as Canadian students. So offering up to full tuition, housing in our international scholars program, in our Mr. B. Pearson scholarship program, or a national scholarship program. So if you're looking for more scholarship information, application-based, check out our website. Also, the awardexplorer.ca will find a lot of our application-based scholarships. Now, as you apply, you're going to be joining our Join U of T applicant website. So once you create that online application, you're going to be coming to our Join U of T community. This is your hub for everything related to your application. If you need to upload documents, if you need to check on the status of your application, if you need to ask us questions, or even just get information about residence application or scholarship applications. So really using this space as a way to connect with us and let us know a little bit more about you. Now, in our application timeline, of course, there's some really important dates, so make sure you're checking your portal, making sure you're adding everything that you need to add, or if you're looking in advance, looking to some of the things that might be due. But in this part of the cycle, really submitting any of those last bit of documents that are needed will be very important. If you still have questions or outstanding documents, again, you can ask us through your Join U of T portal or connect with our office directly through social media. I definitely recommend joining our @UTM Future on our Instagram. This really showcases student perspective and student experiences. You'll get the opportunity to see a day in the life, ask anything session. So please note that you'll get to see all of those really great stories, but you can also connect with us through email, through our phone, through your Join U of T portal, so many different ways to do that. Now, that's it for me, just doing a really quick high-level presentation and a bit more about why you might choose U of T Mississauga. If you have any other questions, I'll be here at the very end to answer any of your live questions. And of course, you can connect with our office in these different ways. At this point, though, the star of the show is our lovely tour guide, Debra. Now, Debra is an incredible student ambassador, really having a variety of experiences on our campus. So as she's going through her bit of the story, listen in, take some notes, ask some questions, and she will be here to answer all of it. Debra, over to you.
So much for the introduction to that. Hi, everybody. My name is Debra Alani. I'm a third-year student, and I'm currently majoring in political science and sociology with a minor in women and gender studies. So before we get into the tour, I just want you guys to get to know a little bit more about me. So I was actually born in Nigeria, but I came to Canada at the age of 3, and I've actually lived in quite a few places. Sorry. I lived in Montreal, Calgary, and last but not least, Brampton, Ontario, which is where I completed my high school diploma at Cardinal Leger Secondary High School. While I was in high school, I did many things where I was multicultural dance groups. I was part of the photography group, which is why I have that picture there. And my experience in the Brampton High School was really great. I came into university wanting to study criminology, but as I got in, I switched to political science and sociology with a minor in women and gender studies because I have a strong passion for advocacy, and I just like the idea of having a voice for those who did not have one. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the help with my academic advisors, which brings me to our next stop, which is the Kenneth Center. So this is the Kenneth Center. As a student, I found myself here so frequently. I came here for financial advising, and also for academic advising. This is where I was able to map out my education and talk to my financial and academic advisors about questions I had in regards to my program or some courses that I was taking. This is also where the Student Recruitment and Admissions Office is. I'm currently working there as a student ambassador for community engagement. And some of the things I do in my role is things like this: presentations to students that have an interest in coming to U of T. Also, I've actually had so many political science courses in this building. And downstairs is really nice because they have some nice study rooms where students can go and just study or just go over notes together. So right outside the Connect Center is actually the My Way Transit. So UTM students actually get a free bus pass along with, that comes with their tuition, of course, but it's a free bus pass that allows them to to take many buses as much as they want all across Mississauga. So I've actually even taken the bus so much as a commuter, because I live off campus, I use the My Way Transit to get to almost everywhere, such as clinics, movie theaters, grocery stores, you name it. So this My Way bus pass has actually been so beneficial for me. Additionally, we also have a bus shuttle. So this bus shuttle actually takes us to the St. George campus, or just downtown in general. So the St. George campus is located in downtown Toronto. And I've actually gone there so many times. One, I love taking the shuttle bus because I rather take the shuttle bus that takes me straight there with no stops than taking the transit that has many stops. And also because all I have to do is show my student pass and I can go downtown. As well as if you decide to take some courses downtown, it's a really fast and efficient way to get there. So the next place that we're gonna look at is the Student Center. So this is the Student Center. So as I was talking about bus passes and free stuff, this is where you would get all the information for all your discount codes and all your free items. The Student Center is actually one of my second homes at the UTM campus. I go here almost as frequently as I go to class. And that's because I'm a part of so many clubs and societies. So in my second year, I decided to join the Black Students Association because in my first year, I thought, okay, I'm going into university, I need to focus, but I realized that I was lacking a social life. And that's when I needed to balance my social life and my academics. So I decided to join a clubs and society to get more involved in school. And once I joined BSA, my entire university experience changed for the better. I met so many cool new people. I was able to show my goofy side. I became way more extroverted because I'm a very introverted person. So to even come here and talk would have been such a hassle for me in the past. But due to my involvement in all these clubs and societies, I'm able to be more open about who I am. So I'm currently actually the president of the African Students Association, and I'm also part of the Anti-Racism Task Force. The best part about the Student Center is the Blind Duck Pub. You will catch me here on Tuesdays and Thursdays eating half-off wings. But not just about wings, they have so many different food options like burgers, pizzas, wraps, sandwiches, and so on. So before we head on to our next stop, I just want to take a quick stop at the residence so you guys can take a look at what it looks like. So this is the Oscar Peterson Hall. It's one of the few residences that we have at the UTM campus. I personally never lived on campus, but I wish I did because all the friends that I've had were already friends because they met each other on campus. And I wish I got the opportunity to live on campus and just get the full university experience. So I really advise all of you guys to live on campus, get the full university experience. And if you're planning on doing so, the deadline is March 31st. So please don't miss it. So before we go on to the Deerfield Hall building, I just want to show you guys this picture because every time I'm walking towards this building, I always see deers. So maybe that's why it's called the Deerfield Hall building. But now let's go to the actual Deerfield Hall building. So this is the Deerfield Hall building. It's one of the two places on campus that has a Starbucks. So I usually like to come here before my psychology labs and grab some Starbucks or some coffees to help me, just to get me more alive before I start my day. I really like this building because of the beautiful study spaces. It has such a mellow vibe, and it really helps in terms of focusing and just doing your work. So as I was talking about my psychology labs, this is where I actually have all of them. As you can see, they're even doing one of the lab experiments that we did during the year. And the great part about it is that we all get our own personal iMacs, which is the computers that you see in front of every student. We all get our own personal ones to do different labs and experiments throughout the year. And the best part about this building is the Northside Bistro. There's pastries and pizzas, and they make it fresh out of the oven. I remember last time my friend was getting one, and the cheese was literally melting. It looked like they added like 3 tons of cheese on it. So yeah, definitely stop here to get some nice pizza. And you know what's also cool about this building? It's connected to our next stop, which is the Manjwe and Dema Wiwan building. So this is the Manjwe and Dem Owinan building, also known as the MN building. So the MN building has one of the most resourceful academic success resources on campus, for me anyways. So I always come here to get my essays looked over for grammatical errors or to just get some structure. They also help out with lab reviews, math reviews, anything, you name it. And the best part about all of this is that they've actually been in your shoes. They've been at UTM and they've graduated. So they know exactly what the professors are looking for. So I really like to take their advice because I just think that getting advice from somebody that's probably already taken your course is the best place to go. Another thing about this building is the lighting. The aesthetics are so nice. And if you're an Instagram freak like me, you want to get the best lighting on campus, which is in this MN building. So the MN building is actually right next to the academic learning center, to the Hazel McCallion Academic Learning Center, my bad. So let's just head on over there and see what that is. This is the Hazel McCallion Academic Learning Center. It houses the library. So when you go into this building, most of it is made up of the library. And remember how I was talking about how there's 2 Starbucks on campus? The other one is located right outside the library. And I find that that is actually very efficient because sometimes you just need a little coffee break before you get to studying. Another thing I love about this building is that each level adheres to your study skills. So if you like to study in complete silence, the 4th floor is the best place for you. You can literally hear a nail drop. It is so quiet. And if you really want to focus and just have that silence, then that's the best place for you to go. But if you're like me and you like to socialize and talk and say your notes out loud, then you would like the 3rd floor, where you're able to actually book study rooms. And in these study rooms, there's whiteboards and TVs, and you can go downstairs and really borrow anything from the information desk, from chargers to whiteboard erasers and markers. And I've actually had to come here before and connect my laptop to the TV to watch The Lion King for my Religion 101 class. So it was very beneficial because my friends and I were able to watch the movie together and take some notes. So now we're just going to move on. So after all that studying, we obviously want to grab something nice to eat. So now we're just going to move on to the William G. Davis building. I'm so sorry. I've had a long day and I'm just thinking about food. So we're not going to talk about food just yet. We're going to go to the Recreation and Athletics and Wellness Center. So the Recreation, Athletics, and Wellness Center has so many programs for students like swimming, boxing, Zumba classes, and much more. I've actually come here so many times during the year, and I've met some of my closest friends. The best part about this place is also the home basketball games. At these games, you really get a sense of the UTM community. Everybody is literally so lively and so fun. You also get a chance to win prizes and all of that. And at the end of all these games, all the students usually go to the Davis building and grab something to eat. So that is the next stop, the William G. Davis building. So this is the William G. Davis building. It's actually one of the oldest buildings at UTM, but you would never know that due to all the nice renovations we've gotten over the year. So this is one of the spots that everybody loves to come to. I love this Tim Hortons, and so does everybody. So I suggest that you come here quickly before you have to wait in the long line. And of course, after all that working out, I still like to cheat a little bit and have some Harveys. So I'm so happy that the Harveys has just been implemented into this building, and it's also part of the new renovations that we have here at UTM. But just to balance everything out, you know, we can't just have a Harveys and say that you go to gym. So I go to the center of the cafeteria, and there's actually like a fruit bowl, a fruit section where you can make your own fruit bowls. And I like to add a little bit of whipped cream for sweetness. And yeah, but all this talk about food, let me stop here before you guys hear my stomach growling. I'm going to bring back, thank you so much for listening to me. I'm going to bring back Alicia and Sadaf back up here.
Thank you so much, Debra, for taking us on this wonderful tour of yours. I will say, like, I could definitely relate with a lot of the experiences that you were sharing, but the campus has grown and innovated so much since I've been there. So I was getting a little bit jealous here and there. And my tummy's grumbling too. Alicia, how about yours?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely making me think about all the bubble tea that I used to drink on campus. Definitely took a lot of my money, but it was worth it.
some things are just worth it. It's okay, guys. Splurge. Now, you know, thank you so much for that presentation, Debra. Alicia, I haven't really been looking at the chat because we've been presenting. How has that been? Are there a lot of really great questions? Anything that you'd like to ask ourselves, or even if you'd like to answer it?
Yeah, for sure. The questions and the chat has definitely been bumping. So I'm definitely going to be directing questions between both you and Debra. So I'll start off with Debra. One of our popular questions that we have been getting from folks is talking a little bit about what was the transition to studying online and how did you find that experience? Do you have any tips that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, so my biggest concern of studying online was not having like notifications or emails on. And I never knew how frequently I would have to check my emails until this year. So my best advice is always like keeping notes of things that you have due so that you're not rushing last minute, maybe getting a calendar or a planner and just plan out your week by week, adding your meetings or your classes that you need or any assignments that you have so that you're on top of your task, and just making time to also do the things you love. So yes, it's good to study, and I know it can online, it can feel like there's so much coming at you, but also like maybe keeping an hour or two in the day just to relax and watch your favorite show.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing all of that. I'm going to direct this back over to you, Sadaf. And we've been getting some questions about students who want to know a little bit about the differences between the different campuses. So what suggestions would you recommend for being able to let them be able to explore which one is the right option for them?
That's really great question. So thank you, Zainab, for asking that, or any other students who are thinking about that. Now, in terms of like the beginning of my presentation, I do want to stress that you are getting a U of T degree, no matter the campus you go to. So that University of Toronto degree is available all three campuses. Now, the main differences between our campus are twofold. One could be the program that you're interested in. Now, we have over 700 programs at the University of Toronto. Some are housed on all three campuses. So let's say you're interested in something like psychology. You'll find that on the Mississauga campus, the Scarborough campus, as well as the St. George campus. Now, some of the ways that the program run might be slightly different, but it's more of a same but different status there. Now, there are some programs that are unique to a campus. So, for example, if you're interested in theater and drama, in performance, communication, culture, information technology, or, for example, the forensic science program, you'll find that on our Mississauga campus only. So that's one way to think about which campus to go to. The other is the style or the vibe of the campus and what you like, a situation that you think you'll thrive the best. And I'll give you an example. So my best friend and I both applied to the Mississauga and the St. George campus. Now, when I went to the St. George campus, I realized it wasn't quite a bit fit for me. It was a bit bigger and more spread out than, I thought it was suitable for me, where my friend really enjoyed that space. For myself, I really love the close-knit environment of the Mississauga campus. I do enjoy that I get a chance to connect with my professors quite frequently. I see them on campus, and establishing that relationship was important to me. Now, again, the opportunities, that U of T degree, the networks, the libraries, the funding, the backing of the U of T name, doesn't matter which campus you choose. So there's no real campus. We're all U of T. Just the downtown campus is the founding campus, and a lot larger in terms of student population, where we're an enclosed campus. So that was kind of my process, but I might throw it over to Debra. And when you were selecting a campus, what was that like for you?
Yeah, so almost basically the same thing. I like the fact that UTM kind of feels a little bit more like a home, like how you were saying, like it's very close and you see your professors in the hallway and they remember your face because of the closeness of the campus. So I really enjoyed that aspect about the Mississauga campus.
And Alicia, I'm not going to let you off the hook just because you're the chat moderator. How about you? What made you pick the Mississauga campus, or what maybe your friends, when you were choosing between the different environments, what were you looking for and what did you find?
Yeah, so definitely for me, one of the biggest contributors was the cost factor. So the Mississauga campus was close to my house. So I was actually able to commute, which helped to save a lot of money, opposed if I went to the St. George campus or Scarborough, where I would have to live on residence. So that was a huge contributing factor, but also because I am a huge nature lover, and anyone who really appreciates the outdoors or taking walks in between their day, I really liked the Mississauga campus for how many hiking trails and walking trails there are. You're able to go on that are close by, and you'll always get visited by the deers on our campus, so that's always a great sight to see.
Yeah, Debra wasn't lying. Those are there. That's really fun. Thank you for that question, Zainab.
Awesome. So moving it back over to you, Debra. So you have been having a lot of experience with extracurriculars during your time here. Do you mind talking a little bit about how do students get involved, but then also do they have the opportunity to take extracurriculars at other campuses, so at the St. George, Mississauga, or Scarborough?
So that's a very good question. I haven't really taken any extracurriculars at other campus, except for the Anti-Black Racism Task Force, which is a tri-campus initiative. But within my club, we also do a lot of partnerships with other clubs at the different campuses. So we have, like, maybe if you want to do an African Students Association meeting, we can contact the St. George campus and Scarborough and ask if they want to do a huge event all together. And I know we've done stuff with York and even other universities like Ryerson as well. So just because you're in a club at one campus does not limit your network for other campuses as well.
I definitely agree. As a former student myself, I was actually able to take extracurriculars across all three. But also what's really cool is that once you become a U of T student, irrespective of what campus you are a U of T student, so your student card allows you access to all the facilities all across the three different campuses as well. So whether that means going to the gym there, studying in the different libraries, you have access to all of that. All right, so I'm going to be moving this back over to you, Sadaf, and that is a question regarding, are you able to switch campuses after your first year? This has been a very popular question.
Awesome, thank you for highlighting that, Luca. One of the things to note is that because we're U of T and we're one university, those credits that you take are easily internally transferred. If you're not at the right campus fit, I encourage you to talk to an academic or program advisor, and they're going to help you with those steps. So we do have internal transfers available. I would say look to your program to make sure it's on the other campus. Look towards the requirements to make sure that you're hitting all the check marks of the things that you have to do in your due diligence, but you're not going to be alone. If you need to make that switch for whatever reason, you're able to, but I will add that you're also able to take classes at the other campuses. So in my second year, in my third year, and in my fourth year, I took classes at the St. George campus. And the reason for that, one, some of my friends were downtown and I took classes with them because just to spend time together. And my shuttle bus was free to go visit them. They took classes in the Mississauga campus with me and had that experience. Or if you just want to go again to follow a professor that you love or to experience something different, you have that opportunity on all three campuses. So short answer, yes. Longer answer, just make sure you're checking in and connecting with advisors to make sure you're doing your due diligence.
Awesome, thank you. So for all of us, I'm sure we can all appreciate and, relate to this, is that one of the biggest jumps going from high school to university is the amount of students that are now in your class. So Debra, do you mind talking a little bit about how many students do you usually see in a lecture, tutorial, and a practical, and what was that difference in size looking like?
Yeah, so my first year I walked into class, I thought I was in the movies. I looked up, there's like 300 students there, and I was thinking to myself, like, even when the professor was asking questions, I'll feel like, should I answer, or everybody's eyes are going to be on me, and oh my gosh. But I actually completely stopped with that mindset in my second year, and I started answering questions. Like, you're coming to university, you might as well get your full experience. And also, if you want to do graduate studies, it's really good to get recognized by your professors. So just being bold enough to just answer questions and network. All those students feel the exact same way as you. So just saying hi to somebody that's sitting next to you or asking for notes can really form bonds that will last a lifetime.
Awesome. And if I could add into there, just throwing in my own experiences from way back when, one of the things to recognize is that in first year, especially that transition from high school to university, it is a bit different. But as you start to get into like your second year, your third year, or your fourth year, your class sizes actually shrink considerably. The reason for that is that first year courses are the basis to any of those different programs that we have. So taking that first year biology or taking that first year English course will help you kind of jumpstart into those different streams. So in my second year, my third year, maybe about 40 to 50 students in my classes. In my third and fourth year, getting to more like 20 students in like a seminar class. So you start to really build those close-knit relationships. And if you ever have a class that is that big, Alicia, tell me, if you're in a bio class and you have that many students, what are some smaller opportunities that you have to connect with anybody? You mentioned the words already with the labs and the practicum.
Yeah, so what's really great is that oftentimes courses offer two other types of offerings, which are tutorials, where you're actually able to get into smaller group settings to work with your fellow classmates and a teaching assistant to go through the different topics that are covered in lecture, go through different group discussions, and so forth. Also, for all the science folks, we also offer practicals. So this is a great way for you to make friends while you're also in the lab. Those tend to be for like 3 hours long, so you're definitely going to get close to the person right beside you, and you'll definitely walk out of there with a friend. So talking a little bit on that, Debra, do you mind just talking a little bit about what it was like to interact with professors pre-COVID versus during the COVID time? Like, how did you overcome that? Were you shy at first? And how did the online learning also interfere with you interacting with students?
So in person, I was very scared, very shy. And it wasn't actually until my Religion 101 teacher that made me so excited to talk to professors, because one day after class, I just went to ask him a question, and I guess he was filling in for my TA. And because the TAs are smaller sections, I was able to talk more and share my opinions. And the next day in class, when I rose my hand in front of 200 people, 300 people, he actually remembered my name. And that was really great for me, because, you come to university and people say, oh, you're just a number. No, he actually said, yeah, Debra, you can go next. And I felt really at home and I felt great. So I just continue to do that in all my courses, to just be bold and just speak. And professors actually like that. They're literally waiting for you to talk to them. Even during office hours, they're waiting for you to come to their office hours. Nobody usually comes. They're waiting. So when you come, they will be able to support you and give you those answers, right? And even with the whole online, I think online has been the same for me. So because of that boldness I got from doing it in person, I'm able to set one-on-one Zoom sessions with my professors when I need help to questions. And they're probably even tired of me, because I literally send them like letters, when I need like clarification on papers, and I bullet point. I go like, one, what's this? And they're so nice. They actually answer everything. They don't ever make me feel like I'm hassling them or troubling them. So yeah, the professors are here for you. They really want you to interact with them. So do so.
I can definitely relate to that. There's been so many times where I've been shy and I'm like, oh, I don't think this professor is going to want to listen to me. But the minute I go, it's like open hands, like, let me help you. Let me, solve all your problems. I'm like, okay, thank God. Like, I'm going to walk out of here with a good mark. I hope, I pray. So definitely can relate to that. So moving this back over to you, Sadaf, maybe you can share a little bit about the process. And then Debra, if you want to talk a little bit about your personal experience regarding this. But what is it like to go about choosing your majors, minors, and your specializations? How does that work?
Yeah, that's fantastic question, and really great that you're showing, that you're already kind of researching this and preparing for this. So as I mentioned, we offer a variety of programs. Now, with these programs, there's ways that you can do in your undergraduate degree. Let me backtrack a second. Your undergraduate degree is about 4 years. That's a total of 20 credits. Now, with those credits, when you're doing something called a specialization, that means that most of your area, most of those 4 years of those credits are on one topic. So for example, it might be 15 credits gets you a specialization. You still have 5 credits or 5 full year courses or 10 half semester courses to explore, to try things, to figure things out, really start to get your bearings in. Now, a major, when you graduate, you can also graduate with a double major. That is when you have a medium-sized focus on a topic. That's usually combined with another major. So you could be double majoring in something like biology, but let's say you also have an interest in philosophy. So those are 2 very different fields, and maybe you apply to biology, but you can start to add on those other areas or those other credits. Now, we can also do a major and 2 minors. So that's very diverse offering. That's, you have a lot of little sections. So a major, again, a medium-sized focus on an area, and a minor is a smaller size focus on different topics. So let's say you're majoring in, you asked about life sciences, let's say you're majoring in chemistry, but you want to minor in biology, or you want to minor in English literature. So that breadth of that space is really up to you to discover. Now, when you enter U of T, we're asking you to indicate your program of area of interest. So the things that you're going to start looking into classes or start discovering what you want, but you're by no means fixed on that one topic. So for example, I actually started off in the sciences, and I was like, all my IB sciences, yes, I did all 3, really diving deep into the sciences, got into my first year, did well, and realized, what? I love teaching. I love education. I love students. And by my second year, I completely switched. I did English, philosophy, and classical studies. So going from one end to the other, I didn't lose any time. I didn't lose any credits because we have those buffer credits to explore, to make mistakes, to try new things, as well as, again, those academic advisors and counselors to help you on that journey. Now, again, this isn't something that you would decide until the end of your first year, the start of your second, because it gives you a chance to actually try courses. What you thought was biology in high school, you might realize, actually, I love biomedical communication. I want to write textbooks. I want to do things that engage in technologies. So there are a variety of things. I would really recommend going over our program plans, and maybe someone can link that in the chat. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Our program plans give you an idea of what the 4 years of any specialist or any major may look like. It's really great to see some of the careers that come out of it, some of the networking opportunities, and a chance to see what the differences are before you even get started. Now, Debra, I know you mentioned there was a change in your program, so I will pass it over to you as Alicia suggested.
Oh yeah, so I came in for criminology because after watching all these law shows, I'm like, yes, this is what I want to do. But criminology was nothing like the shows. And I just realized that I liked political science better. Like I liked the idea of policies and knowing about who runs my government, why is this and this happening. And I love women and gender studies because it talked about inequalities and racism and all these topics that tie into like the world that we live in. So I noticed that a lot of the courses in each they kind of coincide. So it didn't feel like I was losing any credits. It didn't feel like I was wasting any time. I took summer school optionally, and I was even able to take some more courses for other classes within my programs. And it turned out really well. Like, I thought some people think, oh, when you switch a program, that means 2 more extra years. No, I'm still graduating on time. And now I'm in a program that I actually desire. And because of the passion that I have for the things that I'm doing, my grades are reflected.
I can definitely agree with that. I think one thing I would love to share with everyone is that people change their programs and their interests way more often than you think so. A lot of students always come in with like a very firm idea, me being one of them, and we do like a whole complete switch by the time we graduate. So don't feel like you're always stuck in a box, because you do have the movement to switch between programs. Both Sadaf and Debra and myself have had experience with this, so it's definitely possible. And just going back onto something Sadaf mentioned is that people often do polar opposites in their degree because of the different requirements that are offered to graduate. So when you start exploring different courses, you start to notice that you really enjoy different areas that you never would have been exposed to prior. So leave room to try out different things, and always don't be hard on yourself.
I love that. Great advice, Alicia.
I try.
Yeah.
So Debra, I know this is definitely based upon different courses, but did you find that university courses were a lot more hands-on in your experience in your program, or were they more application-based? It definitely varies between programs, so speaking on yours specifically.
Oh, so for me, I don't think it was really hands-on, but it was extremely interactive. And like Sadaf said, once you get into your upper years, the class sizes get smaller, the conversations get deeper, and you can find yourself even going past the lecture time because you guys are so into the topics you're talking about. So not hands-on experience, but I still wouldn't trade it. Like, I really love the interactive conversations that I have in class, and it doesn't even feel like I'm studying sometimes. Like, I know the other day I was reading a reading for class and I was so into the reading. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Like, I was so into the reading, it didn't even feel like it was like homework because I really liked what I was doing and I was able to engage in the conversation in class in the next lecture. So yeah, so like Alicia said, it's very different for different programs, but then again, different programs adhere to different things, right?
And, perfectly said, Debra, but I would also add that, like, University of Toronto has a very strong reputation to maintain in that our graduates are the best in the top of their field. And with saying that, any course that you have that's theoretical or knowledge-based will always have, like, opportunities for externships, internships, research opportunity, that experiential learning. I think that word is thrown around a lot as a catchphrase of experience building, but we really will not let you leave without being set up for success. And that being set up for success includes a variety of opportunities. So starting from your second year, you can start, working with professors on. And these professors are at the top of their field. Literally, when you get into your classes, you'll look at your textbook, see the professor's name, and realize it is the same person. And you're going to be working with them on their funding, on their projects. And you can pick something that's completely different from your field if you want to build leadership. So we had Alicia in our office early on, building these public presentation skills in our work study opportunity. And look at her now, right here on YouTube Live.
Thank you. To change things up a little bit, do you guys both mind sharing some of your favorite moments or your favorite spots in Mississauga for someone who's not familiar with the city?
Yeah, I can go first. I was like, not everyone jump in at once. Well, Mississauga, first of all, is the 6th largest city in Canada, with over 70 Fortune 500 companies calling Mississauga home. So we're right by the lake. Actually, the Toronto Pearson International Airport is in Mississauga. So recognizing that we're a very engaging city, very diverse, very cultural. Actually, we also have Canada's 2nd largest mall and Ontario's largest mall, with a hub of food, entertainment, ice skating, celebrations that happen within our city. So my parents moved to Mississauga from Alberta to follow me to come to the University of Toronto. Previously, I had lived in Vancouver as well as Texas and some other countries. And I will say that Mississauga felt like home and the best of both worlds. So I was able to access community, access services, have really great nature trails, as Alicia was mentioning. But then I had that shuttle bus if I wanted to go downtown Toronto for any of the opportunities that were there. So it's a little bit of both. Debra, what are your thoughts on that?
So I feel like Mississauga is like a little bit of in between. It is a very busy city, but it's not clustered. To say, like, downtown Toronto feels like a mini New York. it's very busy. There's bikes, there's people walking around, there's so much going on. It's a lively place to be if you want to go for an event or there's different things that you want to go see down there. But I like Mississauga because although it has all these things happening, like at the Square One Center, there's like a square where like you can go ice skating in the winter. If you're a big basketball fan, they have Raptors games and they play it on the big screen and everybody comes together like a community. It's really great. And there's a huge shopping center. So if you like to spend money, that's the best place to go. You have so many different stores. And yeah, like I really like Mississauga because it gives me like the best of both worlds. And it's so close to, it's like central. So it's so close to Toronto and all other cities around.
Yeah, I definitely relate with both of you and I can definitely, appreciate it. For me specifically, I just absolutely love the diversity. So being Punjabi myself, it's so amazing to be able to try different cuisines that I never would have been exposed to, like being able to eat ramen to sushi to like hakka. I love it all. And I also want to just put in a little plug over here. So I'm actually going to be linking in the chat a Mississauga Monday campaign that happened on the UTM Future Instagram page, where we actually highlighted different topics about Mississauga. So from the nature to the food to the city life that you can actually go and explore to see some of the things that have been discussed in this conversation.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Alicia. I would like to see it too. I will join.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Sadaf, this is perfect for you. I'm going to be directing this over to you. So
okay.
How can students communicate with someone that actually did a program that they were interested in applying for?
I love this question. Thank you for directing it at me. So Joyce, really great opportunities to connect coming up. So on our U of T Future online events page, we have so many different events coming up that are related to either field of study. So we'll have student panels that will be representation from across the various programs. We're having our spring showcase, which will be in 4 dates in March and April, that will have the programs as well as the student societies represent themselves. We'll also be doing peer-to-peer sort of connections. So look out for that in your Join U of T portal if you've applied or on our website. But really, you can also just always connect with the academic department and connect with them or ask us, and we'll be happy to connect you with any student. So really, there's so many different ways to access that. You can start with us, you can start with the department page or come to one of our future events. Like we have Debra here representing one of her departments, well, we can all speak to it through our different ways. Alicia, I know sometimes you're featuring people on our Instagram page as well, so that might be a fun way to connect too.
Yeah, definitely stay tuned. Make sure you follow our UTM Future page, plugging it in once again in case you forgot last time. But make sure you follow us. We have a lot of campaigns coming up, which is going to spotlight different folks who are in different fields of study and so forth. All right, so something that is also a huge change that we see from high school into university that you guys definitely recognize is, what is the average hours of class per day look like? Is your schedule going to be the same from Monday to Friday? So maybe Debra, if you'd like to go first, talk about your experience.
Yeah, so I actually love the university schedule way better than high school because you basically plan your schedule according to what you like and what you want. So I used to take all morning classes before and I'm like, okay, this is not for me. Let me be real, I'm not going. So I started to plan my schedule around to have more classes during the afternoon when I know I'm more alive and awake so I can be more attentive. You could plan to have 4 classes in a day or 2 in a day. You basically do your schedule the way you want. And you just have to make sure that the class is offered at whichever times that you like. So it's very flexible.
And yeah, to add to that, usually each course might be about 3 hours of instruction. So in terms of how you're dividing that out, some classes are offered like 3 times a week with 1 hour. Some are offered in 3-hour blocks, like one night or one morning. So there is a lot of flexibility, and many classes will have a few different options, especially with that hybrid online in-person model that we might be moving towards as we kind of figure out the next steps and where we are. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that, as Debra said, you have a lot of agency to make those choices. I never liked classes on a Friday, so I made sure everything was Monday to Thursday, and Friday was just a me day to do what I wanted to do. So Joyce, great question. I would say also the amount of hours per work in terms of putting in is also kind of up to you and what you do. We usually recommend there'll be a recommendation from the prof of how to balance your time, especially in your first year courses. There's a bit more hand-holding and advice that is there with our academic sessions that we're offering. But keep in mind that really is up to you to plan out your schedule. But we do have supports right from first year, right with the summer. They're going to help you plan out your studies and what it is that you like to do. And just to add on, Joyce, I love your picture. I love those fall flowers. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, I definitely appreciated being able to choose. For me, I'm a morning person. So by like 2 p.m., I'm like, okay, it's nap time for me. So I love being able to choose all my classes right in the morning. After that, I just go home, sleep. It was great. I loved it.
Oh, that's great. Alicia, I think we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. If there's any burning questions that are there in the team chat there.
Yeah, for sure. So one question I guess we can leave off with is just talking a little bit about the diversity that we're able to see on our campus. So whether that means from seeing students come from different places all over the world or the clubs that are being offered. So maybe Debra, you want to speak on your experience, and then I'll shift it over to you, the International Recruitment Officer.
Yes, of course. Coming into U of T, I was so afraid that I wasn't going to be able to find a Black community, but I saw every community. There was every race, every ethnicity. UTM really does highlight the diversity at the school. And I find that it's really great because I learned so much about students that are international students, and they learn so much from me. And it's so great to have a classmate that has not been in Canada and like talks to you about different things and teaches you about their culture. It's really fun. And I live off campus, and even my roommates, they're from different places and different backgrounds. When we open the fridge, we have all different foods. We try each other's foods. And I just love the diversity at the UTM campus. It's really great.
I mean, Debra said it all. That's perfect. I think the university, both Mississauga, St. George, Scarborough, represent the community that we're part of in Canada. And our regions are quite multicultural, quite diverse in these city hubs. As Alicia mentioned, that it gives the perks of the variety of food and opportunities, but also more understanding of culture and diversity and what it means to be a world citizen, even if you've never left your city or your school district. One thing to also note is that you might not know if someone is international or someone is Canadian. We have a variety of multi-generational Canadians that might look a little bit different. We'll have people who may have just come, but they've grown up with similar culture and concepts. So I think that the University of Toronto Mississauga community is very warm, welcoming, and there's a lot of celebration of culture. So we'll have events like we had a Caribbean week where we brought cultures from the Caribbean out. You get to try foods, you get to see the dances, the performance, and really learn. Then there'll be like a dance performance or a club or society that opens up its doors. And through that, I learned as well my love of traveling, my love of connecting with international students from people all around the world with so many different stories and backgrounds. Again, I found it very engaging and a really great way to connect. Alicia, how about yourself? I think you were a student as well. What did you feel about that?
Yeah, I definitely appreciated that. So basically coming from high school, I grew up in a community where everyone is kind of within the South Asian demographic. So coming into university, I was able to meet some of my best friends who are from different parts of the world that I personally didn't expect to be exposed to. And I think what is so great is that the university actually offers international cuisine. So we're all eating cuisine from different places that we're not actually from. And as you mentioned, like being able to celebrate and appreciate different cultures, that was a huge thing I noticed from the clubs to the events to the student life. So thank you so much to everyone. I think that wraps up all of our questions for today. If we weren't able to answer any of your questions in the chat below, one of my colleagues will be able to leave a link for how you can contact our office, and hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions then. If not, we'll also link our future events for you to be able to come and join in on those events, and hopefully we'll be able to answer those questions then as well.
Thank you so much, Alicia, for moderating that chat. I hope we got to your questions, as Alicia said. If not, we'll have many more sessions with live panels and updates. Please do come and connect with us. We're real people, and we're usually pretty funny, I would say, but full of knowledge and wealth of information that we want to share with someone. So thank you for taking the time today to connect with us. Debra, thank you so much for taking us on your personal tour and sharing those stories. I will definitely be watching The Lion King in the library at some point, just to echo your experience. And again, join us at uoft.me/discoverutm for any of our upcoming events. Really excited to see you. I hope we were able to answer your questions, and I hope you had a good time today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.